Hello, hello. Thank you so much
Hi.
for chatting with me today. So, what is your name? Where are you from? And what kind of music do you work on?
Oh, what's my name and where am I from? So my name is Patrick Cook. My producer name is Portalize. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, born and bred city boy, and then I made a courageous leap to go live in the jungle of Costa Rica in a little surf town called Nosara a bunch of years ago. So that's kind of home base, but I bounce around a fair bit. Nashville, LA, New York, Toronto, wherever I'm needed.
Mhm. And if you're open to saying, how old are you?
I just turned 50. Look at the gray hair. This is wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. Hard-earned wisdom. But I mean, I feel like I'm 25. I've got my most creative years ahead of me. I feel more inspired and more creative than I ever have in my entire life. It's awesome. 50 is the new 30 or 25.
Definitely. Um,
Yeah.
are you a producer, songwriter, artist, 100%er? How would you consider yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm a 100%er. I don't do a lot of singing, at least recording. I sing a lot live, but that's more just like in a bar band. But I would say I'm a producer first, songwriter. Songwriting is something I've really worked on a lot more in the recent years. We'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, producer, writer is probably primarily what I am.
Cool. And before, discovering us, what was your life look like? What did your life look like as a musician?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of success in my life, and it's interesting. When I met Adam, I didn't realize how much more I needed to learn. I was doing pretty well. Like I have been in this business for 20 years. That's been my only job for the last 20 years or longer. I started doing sort of jingles, more score work for commercials, right? So you get the picture and you score to it rather than writing a song and it gets placed.
Mhm.
And so I had a lot of success, a lot of experience, made a bunch of money. My career allowed me to move to Costa Rica. But what I really always wanted to do was write songs and like write songs with great artists. And that's something I hadn't really explored of myself and my creativity. And so when I met Adam, he actually invited me into the Billboard 500 Club as a mentor because I was doing life coaching at that time, as well as music. But I was taking sort of a step back because I kind of got burnt out in the what I was doing. And I didn't see a path forward until I met Adam and Denise, obviously, in the Billboard 500 Club. I was in there and I was actually working with artists more from a mindset perspective and a spirituality perspective and just getting centered and allowing your creative channel to open, which is also super important. I still do that with artists. But I wanted to take my music to the next level. And that's really what I found in Billboard. And again, I didn't even really understand how much more I needed to learn or could learn. Because again, I was doing pretty well. But the way I look at it, I was kind of at like 80, 85% of my capacity and being in Billboard 500 and breakthrough program specifically, it's taken it up to 95, 96, 99, and I'm just getting better. It's awesome.
Amazing. And what would you say, before breakthrough, where did you feel like you were stuck most?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the songwriting. I mean, overall, I've improved like leaps and bounds. And again, I didn't realize how much more there was to learn. But when I was considering like what my next steps were going to be, and this is my mid 40s now, right? Which is a tough time to sort of reinvent yourself or go back into a market that's typically, reserved for younger people. But I was like, forget that, man. I'm super talented, and I know if I really put my mind to it and I have the right mentorship, I can take this to the next level. And that's exactly what I did. So my production has gone from, pretty damn good to excellent. And then my songwriting is probably where I've expanded the most. Just again, I've learned what I used to do as far as songwriting and production was very intuitive. And I think a lot of people create that way, which is awesome. Your intuition and just getting out of your own way. But what I learned with Adam and the Breakthrough program is just really studying the details and the nuances. And one quote that Adam always says is that really resonates with me is at the highest level, this game of the music business is all about nuance. Like everybody can play, everybody can sing, everybody can write pretty good songs. But if you want to be at the top, it's the little things that make the difference. And that's really what Breakthrough has meant for me is learning those nuances to take me from pretty good to excellent. Right.
Definitely. At the time, like what was it that made you feel like you really wanted to do breakthrough? Like what was it that made you feel like it was something you wanted to try?
Yeah, I mean, there's several reasons. Again, I was kind of in my mid 40s just trying to decide what I was going to do next because again, had had a lot of success in music, but the path I was on and the people I was working with, I was a little burnt out. And in some ways, I was felt like my talent wasn't being, I'll just come out and say it. I felt like I was kind of whoring my talent to, corporations and shit, right? And so there wasn't this sort of essence of spirituality or purpose in the music. And that's one thing I did find in Billboard 500, but also Breakthrough is the people are incredible. And everybody is super tuned in and they're aware and there's a an underlying intention about the whole club, and Denise, you're part of it, is let's create beautiful, amazing, competitive music, but that it's infused with positivity and great emotions and frequencies that uplift the human nature, not drag it down. Right? That doesn't mean. I know when I say that out loud, some people think, "Oh, I don't want to write just like this airy fairy happy pop music." That's not what I'm talking about. You can go into the deep emotions. You can talk about dark or difficult things, but you can approach it with a perspective that sort of gives hope or promise or purpose to what you're talking about, where it's just like, it's not glorifying the lowest angels of our human nature. It's recognizing them and inviting us to move beyond them. Right. And so that was a big part of, I felt really inspired when I felt that in the Billboard 500 Club and specifically from Adam. Because I mean, if you spend any time with him or listen to his content, he's got a really big heart and he wants to genuinely help people, but he wants to also wrestle back the power of music from sort of the corporate hierarchy that has, taken it away from the common people and put it back in the hands of the independent artist where we can express ourselves, we can have an impact, and we can make money. And so that was like, okay, here's an avenue where I can really, be around amazing people, feel like I have a sense of purpose, and make great music and make great money. I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. So that's why Breakthrough was like a no brainer for me.
Awesome. And how do you feel you've progressed over the year now, having done Breakthrough?
Yeah, I mean, it's a steep learning curve, even for me who has a lot of experience, right? It's like because and again, this is a tribute to Adam. It's he really explains or puts you in positions of this is what the real business is like, and he doesn't sugarcoat it. The top artists in sync or in streaming or are writing all the time. They're writing, and most of the artists in sync are creating and finishing a song a week, like one to two songs. Some of the artists I just worked with in Nashville are doing two songs a day, and so their
Right.
catalog is just growing all the time. And so that was a pace I wasn't used to. I was like, okay, this is where I really need to step up and become way more serious about my craft, way more dedicated. And it's not like I wasn't before, because I was doing pretty well. But again, at the top level, if you really want to compete, and that's kind of where Breakthrough and the Billboard is aiming, it's like the top 1% of the sync business in the United States, which is incredibly difficult to break into, incredibly difficult to get placements unless your music is incredible, right? And it has to be at that level. And so that's the mindset, the approach to it, and the work ethic and the discipline needed to aim for that highest percentile and hit it is really what I was attracted to, and what I've learned through Breakthrough is how to operate from the bottom up as the CEO of your own business and really lock in and do the work necessary in order for your music to be that good, your network to be that good, your discipline, everything, all the pieces that need to be together in order to be successful.
Awesome. And what has been some of the biggest takeaways you've had from this experience?
Wow, biggest takeaways from the Breakthrough experience.
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, I've just learned so much about everything, about myself, about life, about creativity, about production, about songwriting, about collaboration. That was another big one because I worked almost exclusively by myself for many, many years, which was awesome. Like I really enjoyed it because I mean, anytime I'd get into rooms, there was people I didn't jibe with, or I didn't really understand with the dynamics of what songwriting in a collaborative environment meant, or
Mhm.
what people's roles were, or expectations, or styles. And that was one thing I really appreciated learning from, because as soon as you go into Breakthrough, you're in camps every week, with different people and you're banging out songs, and it's like you have to learn how to, and especially remotely, because we were doing this during COVID, um, how to work efficiently online in a group, and really everybody brings their own strengths, and you get songs really fast. That was something I did not have experience in, and it's probably been my greatest takeaway. And frankly, Denise, you know this. I was just invited to a sync camp in Nashville by a publisher, which is awesome. That's like just a result of my hustle and the fact that my music is that good now. That's like the big leagues, right? Um, and so I went there, and everybody that I was working with were top notch sync artists and regular independent artists also. A bunch of them are signed to either publishing deals or sync agencies, and they were just crushing it. And I was there holding my own and performing at the top level. It was like, this is what all the work was for. So I can show up in these situations and know what I'm doing, know what my job is, deliver and execute, and everybody gets a great product at the end. And it's just like, yes. So, I mean, it's been a long time and a lot of work, but I'm super grateful for the whole program and for what Adam and Denise, you guys have done. It's a true training ground if you want to be professional in this business.
Amazing. And you had a really awesome experience too while you were there with Brenna. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've had a lot of commercial placements in my time, but Brenna is an artist that was also in Breakthrough, and we became really good friends. And we wrote this amazing song with a couple other people in Breakthrough called "Mad, Mad, Mad." And while I was at the sync camp, we got word that she got her first placement. We got this track placed on Selling Sunset, which is like the number six streaming show on Netflix globally, which is huge. That's a massive placement, especially for her first. I'm just like, I mean, felt so good and so validating and vindicating of all the work we've done developing, working with Brenna and myself developing as a producer. And then the network is the other part of it, where you have to have the people that personally. And she's been hustling, like thumbs up to Brenna. I've been hustling and just meeting the right people that finally can get you the songs that you've worked so hard on place. Because one of the biggest things that I think a lot of young artists miss is that they spend most of their time, 90% of their time, working on the music, which is great. You should be working on your music, and don't reach out to anybody until your music is at the top level and you get feedback, which is another thing that's amazing about the Billboard 500. You get excellent pro level feedback. But once your music is there, you need the avenue in order to be able to sell it. So you have to be networking as much as you're working on your craft. And those two, when they converge, is when you get the magic. And that's what happened for Brenna and I and our other collaborators while I was in Nashville. Selling Sunset, Mad, 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 season 8. Go check it out. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. What do you feel has been the biggest light bulb moment for you?
Wow. Denise, light bulb moment. These are tough questions. In my career or because of Breakthrough or,
Yeah, because of
I mean,
Breakthrough.
yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a lot. It's just we have so much power as individuals and even more so in groups, right? And so the more you can um, sort of discover who you are and who you are as an artist and what your voice is and really be confident in that, right? And for me, it's what is my sound as a producer. That was a big thing, is like, because when I was working before in commercials, I was kind of known as like the jack of all trades. I could do pop, I could do rock, I could do country, I could do EDM, orchestral, all sorts of stuff. And I was pretty good at all of them, you know what I mean? Um, but from Breakthrough, I realized that, okay, you have to zone in on what is your sound, what is your signature. And that's what really has come through for me when by doing the work, but also investigating, asking, I mean, journaling, meditating. There's lots of ways to get there. And I think Brenna, again, when I first met her, she was kind of struggling, like experimenting, super talented, but didn't quite know what her voice was, what her sound was. Was it dramatic? Was it, poppy? And so, when we locked in and we did Mad, 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 it's like, whoa, there's my producer sound and her sort of attitude, dramatic girl pop thing converging at the same time. Is like, boom, it's like fireworks, right? And I've had that with a couple of different artists, but Brennan and I have been great collaborators, and it's been super fun just finding your sound and your tone. And then it's like, now you can double down on it. It's like, okay, here it is. Let's just go knock at it and explore that zone. It's super fun.
Awesome. What surprised you the most about Breakthrough?
What surprised me the most about Breakthrough? Um, I think honestly, I didn't realize how difficult it would be, because I had this kind of attitude where not attitude, but it's just I had a lot of experience. It's like, okay, this I'm just going to sort of touch up my skills, get a little more, familiar with, what needs to happen. I was like, wait a minute, there's way more here for me to learn, which was almost a blessing because like I love learning. And I mean, again, I'm 50, so I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of life experience, but you never stop learning. And curiosity and learning are the things that keep you youthful, frankly. That's why I look so good because I'm always learning. But yeah, just there was so much more for me to learn that I didn't even realize because you don't know what you don't know, right? And it's like when you have that attitude of humility and you approach it and confidence also, not sort of uh, timidness. You want to walk in with confidence, but you don't want to be hubristic or egotistical or, a know-it-all. Like just leave all that shit at the door and come in with humility and own who you are, but also be open to learning. That's kind of the biggest light bulb for me is like, um, when you can approach your life and your creativity with humility, and curiosity, you will always learn something. And when you learn something, you just only get better and you get better and you compound those things over time. And all of a sudden, you're at a whole other level, working with a whole other caliber of people and making the best work of your life. And that's where I've arrived now. I'm just turned 50. I'm making the best music of my life. And I'm stoked about it because what I see in front of me are 10, 15, 20 more years of just like explosion of creativity. And that's what keeps you youthful. It's like I'm super excited about the future. And I have Adam, Denise, Billboard, and Breakthrough to thank for it.
Awesome. If
Yeah.
you didn't know about Breakthrough and you were talking to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
Wow. If I didn't know about Breakthrough, what would I tell myself? I mean, just keep working and keep hustling. I've released some new content lately on my Portalize Instagram page that Denise, you've been incredible helping me with. But um, realizing what you don't know. So say the question one more time, just so I can get it right.
Yeah, like if you didn't know about Breakthrough and you were talking to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah. What would I tell my younger self? I mean, again, there's so much to learn and just keep working and double down on yourself, right? You really have to believe in yourself. And this is a huge part. And again, this is what Adam sort of brought me into the club to do is help young artists with their mindset. And frankly, I needed help with mindset, my own mindset, and still do. It's like a constant thing where I mean, as artists, you can get so discouraged, right? And I've had moments of discouragement and doubt, even in the last year, where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm working my ass off, but I haven't seen quite the results that I wanted, but I know they're coming and I know the work that I'm putting in is going to pay off, right? And so I would say to my younger self, is just keep going, keep doubling down on yourself, keep working, keep believing in yourself, because that's what is really difficult to do when the chips are down. I mean, maybe you've been working at it a long time and you're not seeing the results that you really wanted. Just keep going, and keep believing in yourself. Keep writing, keep producing, keep collaborating. It's gonna work if you really want it and you believe in yourself and you put in the work and you're disciplined and you don't quit. It's guaranteed it's going to happen. You might not know how it's going to happen or what it's going to look like. That's a big thing to take away is like, don't get too attached to some outcome that you thought was going to be the result, right? Because a lot of us, myself included, I wanted to be a rock star. Everybody wanted to be, or still does, want to be, a successful artist like on big stages and stuff, which is awesome. But it might not turn out that way. It might be something better than that you didn't even realize could happen, right? And your life might turn out differently. Just keep working, keep believing in yourself, but also stay open to possibility because there might be a path that you didn't even know existed, and it could be better than any road that you've imagined in the past.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's it been like working with hit songwriters, producers, and mentors in the program?
Yeah. I mean, again, I'll come back to the nuance thing. It's like when talking to Adam and talking to, Grammy Award winners, it's like the detail that they go to, producers especially, the detail that they go to craft their songs. It's not just like a loop or a copy and paste or, you fly the choruses over and call it done. It's like, no, every note, every drum hit, every vocal harmony is all intentional. Every single part of the song is intentional. And it's like, okay, the level of detail that these people go to. And I will call myself one of them now because I am like at that level. And the level of detail I go to with vocal production or drum production, it's like, okay, I'm zeroing in on every hit, and this is one thing I learned from Adam. And this is one tip is like, when you have like say a hi-hat and it hits 4 times per bar, on the third one add a little reverb. That's like a little thing where it's like psh, it's a little splash that almost nobody will recognize except if you're a producer, but it adds that level of nuance, that just little change that the brain picks up on, maybe not consciously, but it understands it's like something juicy. And if you do that over the spectrum of entire song, you have this unique mosaic, this story that you've told that is so unique and so inspiring. And you might not even know why, but it's like, I love that song for multiple reasons, but it's the nuance that really makes the difference.
Definitely. And I know the Golden Ear Gym has been very transformative for people too, and hearing music
100%.
in a totally different way.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. The Golden Gym is amazing. I highly recommend it. I mean, I've learned so much in there. And again, I've been listening to music my whole life, like specifically listening. It was like, okay, how did they do that? I want to recreate that. But then, you get somebody with Adam's level of nuance, ear, and listening. It's like, okay, he hears stuff that even I hadn't heard before, on songs I've heard a million times. Like, holy shit, there's really, more nuance. There's always more there to unpack. And then those little tidbits you can bring back into your own songwriting. And again, it's before I would do things intuitively. So a lot of the stuff I was doing, I mean, I had a hit song back in 2009 where I was using the power of three and all these devices that we learn about in Golden Gym and Breakthrough is like, but I didn't realize how to recreate it, right? And that's one thing Adam talks about in the one hit wonders, right? It's like, okay, you might be able to get a genie in a bottle, but can you recreate it? And the only way that you can learn to recreate it is if you know what you're doing and you can do it intentionally and you can repeat it and you know when to implement those devices and those formulas and in a way that is creative. It's not just like cookie cutter, it's creativity. And so once you understand the rules, then you can break them because you understand what they are, right? And that's really the magic of it.
Definitely. And what's it been like working with a team of people who actually hold you accountable?
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. That's what I was talking about earlier. I hadn't collaborated much, like the songwriting I'd done mostly myself, maybe with one other person. And it would take however long to finish the song because there's nobody, there's no record label, there's no, publisher or anybody holding you accountable. But that was one thing about Breakthrough is the accountability. It's like we're on a schedule and you are beholden to your collaborators and you don't want to let them down. It's like, so I'm gonna go that extra mile. I'm gonna put in the extra work. I'm gonna put in the extra hours to make sure it's done by the deadline. I've never missed a deadline my entire life. I pride myself on that. But it's, the discipline was on myself before. Now I'm beholden to other people. When you're working in a group, it's like, okay, there's no way I'm going to let these people down. I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to have it early. And so they can do their job. I can do my job. And we all converge together and we're all successful. Rising tide lifts all boats when you're working together. So yeah, huge.
Awesome. And I know that you obviously have been working really hard to build your new brand with Portalize as a producer. Can you talk a little bit about what you've learned in terms of producing online digitally with people around the world through Zoom versus in person? How has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've loved it. I think it's been incredible. I'd never worked remotely before Breakthrough, and I didn't even know it was possible, frankly. Every other job I've done either by myself or in a room with somebody. And it's been incredible. I love working online. It's very efficient, and you can really get a good connection with people that I didn't think was possible. I mean, it's different, of course, on many levels. Writing in the room, like I was just in Nashville with those writers, it's like there's a difference when you're there. It's in some senses it's a little quicker, especially when you're working with professionals of that level. I think that had a lot to do with it. But yeah, I love working online. I think it's incredible. Like, the fact that I can be talking to somebody in London or Vietnam or Texas, and we can just be like, having this conversation, actually making a real connection, because that's what you got to do before, because a lot of these people I've never met in person, right? So you have to establish a rapport, a trust with them just by talking, and I pride myself on sort of as a producer holding space for people to really go into themselves. And, I'm good at asking questions, just like you are, Denise, like this interview. It's when you can ask the right questions of somebody and they can go into themselves and like really inquire honestly and earnestly, that's when you get the real emotions that it can inform a great song, right? And that's totally possible online. And I've been uh, very successful at it, frankly. It's been super fun. And I think the results show for themselves. Like most of my catalog that I have right now has been done remotely, which is an amazing feat. I didn't 5 years ago, I didn't even know that was possible. And so it just frees you so much more to not have to be in the physical same location. It's great if you are, but it's not a hindrance anymore, right? And you
Mhm.
can 100% get equally good quality music and relationships and collaboration working online, and which is incredible. I love it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have hurdles when it comes to making a big investment in themselves, especially in an online program. So,
Yeah,
can you talk about a little bit of the fears maybe that would come up for people and how you would
for
best give
sure.
advice on that?
Oh my God. Okay. I will say right out, because I'm a little older, I've invested so much money in myself, especially in the last 10 years. And that goes for everything. Like I'm going to, personal development retreats, meditation retreats, plant medicine, hiring mentors, hiring coaches, hiring therapists. Like I've never once regretted investing in myself. And if you are serious about your career and you're serious about music and specifically sync, or having an artist career, I highly recommend you invest in yourself. And even if it feels like it's too much, the alternative is, what is the alternative, really? It's like, if you don't invest in yourself, how are you going to get to that next level? You might be able to do it, but it might take you 10 years, right? So my philosophy is, if you find somebody that is doing the thing that you want to do, and Adam is a perfect example of doing the thing that a lot of us want to do in Billboard, hire him to show you how he did it. That is one way to expedite your career in a really smart way. And I know the investment can sting, but every dollar I've invested in myself, breakthrough included, has come back to me tenfold and will continue, because it's now I'm that much better and I can hold space for other people to be that much better. And so the artists I work with now benefit from all my experience, and all that goes into the music, and we create assets together that we can sell and sync. And I mean, there is no better thing you can do for yourself than invest in yourself and your future. It's as simple as that. Even if it's tough, even if it stings in the moment, do it if you're serious about having a career in music.
Love it. Anything else you want to share about your experience with Breakthrough or any advice you want to give?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's been such a remarkable journey for me overall. I've just learned so much. The people, I think, is really what it comes down to, and the people in the club are all, obviously they're vetted, and, to a level that they're talented, they're cool people, they're dependable, they're going to show up. And so the caliber of talent and the caliber of character that you encounter in the club, and specifically in Breakthrough, these are dedicated people who are super cool. They're there to work, they're there to collaborate, they're there to create magic in songs where everybody can be successful and make money. You don't find that anywhere else. I've never seen that anywhere else. Adam says it as well. He's never seen anything like this, and I agree with him. It's a remarkable, community of people who are all pulling in the same direction. And it's not about competition or being, I'm better than you, or I did this on the song, and none of that is present. And it's so refreshing. It's everybody wants the best for everybody else, and everybody's showing up as their best self, contributing their talent and their time and their energy and their love to create something incredible. That is a feeling that I have never felt anywhere else. And I'm super grateful to have that experience in Breakthrough.
Well, I'm so grateful to know you and been able to witness your growth and transformation. It's been just an honor for me as well. So tell us a
Awesome.
little
Thanks,
bit
Denise.
about, what you have coming up, what you're working on, any, call to actions that you want to have.
Yeah.
Feel free, let us know.
Yeah, so Portalize is my career as a producer and a songwriter now being available to independent artists who want to develop themselves, they want to invest in themselves and go to the next level. Just like I was talking earlier, finding a mentor who you resonate with, who can support you, who can develop you, who can work with you, write with you, and produce your music to get it to that level that it's going to be competitive. That's what I'm doing now. I'm holding space for artists who really want to take it to the next level and, access my 50 years of experience in the music business and my all my experience with Breakthrough, learning those nuances, getting my music and my production and songwriting to the top level so I can mentor and support other people to do the same thing way, way faster than if you were trying to do it on your own. I mean, it's such an honor for me to hold space and to work with, artists who are really dedicated and want to do that. So if that's you, Portalize Official is my Instagram. Come check me out. Come check out some of my content. Book a free consultation. Let's see if we're good to work together. Maybe we are, and then maybe we'll make some magic and maybe we'll make some great money. Why not? Right?
Awesome. Love that, Patrick. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I really appreciate it. And, I'm so glad that we were able to help you and make those transformations.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denise. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Billboard 500 Breakthrough. Really appreciate you guys. Life changers. Love it.
Thank you.